In this video, we're going to talk through how to approach Eduqas English Language Component 2, Question 4. This question will test you on AO4, which is your ability to evaluate texts critically and support this with appropriate textual references. If you've watched our pods on Component 1, you'll have seen an evaluation question before. You'll also remember that, although it appears to have a different AO focus, it still requires you to demonstrate very similar skills to other AOs. Let's recap. An evaluation question comes in two parts: a statement followed by a question. It's almost similar to a how or impression question, except you're already told the main way you should view a given topic. By main way, it means that there may be some opportunities for you to argue against the statement, but on the whole, you'll agree. So let's take a look at some examples of evaluation questions to make this a little clearer. You could be asked something like, the writer gives a clear and emotive description of what life is like for child labourers. How far do you agree with this statement? And, the writer believes capital punishment to be the most effective and just form of punishment for criminals. How far do you agree with this statement? As you can see, these statements focus on the writer's opinions or how they've conveyed them. Component 2 is based on non-fiction texts, so these texts have been written for purpose, to achieve something. With this in mind, statements will take the side of the writer, and you should side with them too. But remember, there may be a few opportunities for you to argue the opposite and disagree with the statement. For instance, with the second example, the writer could have given other examples of punishment and how they were deemed more effective in some instances. The next thing to note applies to both example questions. We'll just focus on the first one for now, though. In this statement, you're given two key words: clear and emotive. These are two separate adjectives or describing words. Clear means something is understandable, and emotive is defined as the ability to arouse intense feeling or emotion. The question has come in two parts, so your answer should come in two parts as well. This doesn't mean you should write your answer in two separate sections. It just means you need to make sure you answer both parts of the question, giving evidence and analysis for clear and evidence and analysis for emotive. Again, see it as a good thing that you've been given two areas to focus on. It opens up many more possibilities of what you can say. This is similar to the questions in Component 1, where you're given more than one character to focus on. Following the statement in question, you'll also be given direction through the accompanying bullet points. They'll tell you that you should comment on what the writer says and how they say it. You'll recognise these bullet points from the earlier how question, question 2 on this paper. In that question, you were advised to comment on what the writer says and their use of language, tone, and structure. As you can see, the first bullet point is exactly the same here. You're commenting on the content of the article, what is being said. It's the second bullet point that appears to be different, but it actually means the same thing. How the writer says it is about the language, tone, and structure used to portray the writer's ideas. So simply approach this question as before. First, give an overview of whether you agree or disagree, and, more importantly, why. Then, when you get into the bulk of your response, focus on the keywords in the question. Support your points with evidence. Explain what the evidence suggests or shows. In this case, how does it show the description to be clear or emotive? Use connectives to guide examiners through your response, and track through the text chronologically. Remember, for a 10-mark question like this, you should aim to make roughly 8 or 9 different points, supported by evidence from the text. We'll leave it there for now. For an example of an evaluation question with model student responses, why not take a look at the Eduqas Style Component 2 paper attached to this pod and watch our example responses video for question 4. Good luck!